to the Valley Community Board on Tuesday, 19th of October 2023. Special welcome to Peter.
Thank you. Yeah, nice to be here.
And new CEO. This time he's had the privilege of being in amongst such a
August crowd.
I'm sure that over the years to come, we're going to have a lot of fun doing this business. So we've got no apologies that I'm aware of. What about me and Tim? No. I'll just move the motion that we need a motion.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got no one in the public forum. Take confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting. I'm assuming you've all read. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I move that those minutes be of the 7th of September be recorded as a true and accurate record of the meeting.
I'll remove those. I'll second it.
For those in favour say aye. Against say nay. Carry. Declarations of interest. Just remind you that you need to keep in mind when you receive the agenda of any potential conflicts. And if you do have a conflict, you need to identify that now in this process. Look at all this agenda to start timing likely, but okay, so it brings us to our first business. Sorry, I just lost the page. So as everyone read the schedule that's been put in front of us for a starter.
So I can introduce this one.
Yeah.
This one's not here, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just taking the report as read, and the purpose of the report is to give members and staff some certainty around the meeting dates for 2024, as happened in previous years. The Teviot Valley Community Board meeting will continue in a 6-week period, with Teviot meeting remaining on Thursday. There was only one, just one point to note is that there is an additional meeting scheduled on Tuesday, the 21st of May, which has been put aside for long-term plan submission. So the hearings of those should there be any submissions in ward relating to the board's delegation. And following that, I'll just pass you on to the recommendation.
So that's what you call the DLIB. What does DLIB stand for?
Deliberation. We couldn't quite type it all in.
Okay. We were discussing this before in our members only time, and we're talking about the possibility of having those meetings held in the morning as opposed to the afternoon. 7:30 start.
I was thinking 6.
Absolutely, but it's nice.
That's very easy from a staffing perspective, so Vincent has recently
Yeah.
done that as well, so we could actually, we only got one meeting of the year, but of course we could start for next year, but we can definitely go away and see if we can look that for you. And that won't be a problem. Do the days, the scheduled days, with everybody?
Yeah, we can go one.
Just changing it to the morning.
Timing wise, through chair, for VCB, it's 9:30 for a 10 o'clock meeting start. So can we have something like that with you?
Yeah,
9 for a 9:30 meeting start.
so we're talking about meetings only time before that
9.
at 9.
So you have members only at 9 and formal meeting starting at 9:30?
Yeah.
What if the staff need to come and set up before we're here though? That would mean they.
Well, that's true too.
I think
That's fine.
that would be workable. Yeah.
That's workable for you too?
Yeah.
The only other comment that I would make too is we're talking about as a board is about having our own meeting schedule aligned with that. So if there are any changes through the year, we just be cognizant of the fact that we may be having our own meetings, just local, what you might term as local business meetings. Try and get some momentum around the discussions, the things that the community want to relate to us. Like we haven't been doing that, and we feel that there is a need for that to happen.
At this stage, we don't anticipate any changes if there are heavy with those dates for the Teviot Valley.
Yeah.
It would only, we had done it, we've had, Money a Toto where we, had staff, which of the, sorry, not staff, the members away, and I think it's a forum, but we just referred the business to the next meeting. But if something like that happened, there's always by agreement an option to put an additional meeting in for Teviot or for whatever reason, but we'll do, Sarah will do that, negotiate with you guys on that.
Yeah, it's like we've got, there is no meeting for us in May, April, but there is one at the start of May and November.
Yeah, I believe there is actually only 5 weeks between the end of October one, the 31st, and the next one.
Yeah, we're all saying that there's opportunity there to.
If need be
Yeah.
at the time. Yep. And in the event that for whatever reason the board did need to move the meeting, if you could let Sarah know at the early instance, because there are some legal requirements around notification of these meetings. Yeah. Because at least
We're advertising. We're required to advertise having one.
Yeah.
How many?
7.
Right.
Anyone got any other comments? Let Mark be happy, Jill.
That's
I
fine.
like that, yeah.
So it's going to be a 9 a.m. start, 9:30 kickoff. Cool.
So I've made the amendment to change the meeting time to morning, beginning at 9 a.m. for members only, but then meeting public start time at 9:30.
So how do the recommend option is option 1, adopt the 2024 meeting schedule, which we are happy with, with a slight change of time.
And I've made that as a recommendation fee.
Sorry?
I've made that as a recommendation fee for
Yeah. Oh, I think it.
We'll formally record that, so.
So you've got the recommendation is that was the amendment for option B for a change of meeting time to the mornings beginning at 9.
sorry, beginning at 9. Yeah.
9,
With a meeting
the
start.
members own time and 9 to. So move that as a motion. We've got a seconder.
I'll think of it.
All those in favour say aye. Against say nay. Carry. It's also the day. Yeah. So we can move on to the chair's report. Yeah. So my report, period since September 7, is focusing on, I guess, the community we live in. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been watching the town open up like blossom. The activity that's been, the work activity that's been going on, and I understand the swimming pool's been, the building activities have been carried on through the winter, but there's a lot of talk about the new swimming pool now, and it's gone from being a dream to reality. And the
Yeah, well done, Sally. Well done, Sally.
yeah, so well done. And you look at, I guess, the general construction projects that are going on, new houses being built. You look at the work that we're doing through the water main replacement, the work that's been done down at Blackjacks. Just that time of year where things start to happen. And it's, I guess it sort of makes me think more about our community and the people that are there, and how you hear the chatter. It's just like the birds in the morning. So cool. And I just think that it's a good time to remind ourselves when we see our seasonal workers coming to town that this is starting to be the money end of the year for it, where people are working their hearts out and so forth. And I just think it's worth a real good acknowledgement when you look at all those bikers, the walkers, all those people coming to town. It's so good to have a community spirit. And when you look at the community spirit and how to describe it, read what Anne has put out in the spatial plan. They've hit it from 3 or 4 angles, and it proves to me that spirit, they've received those, I guess, those thoughts and ideas about how to describe it through the feedback that they've had in their spatial plan development. And it's insane for me when you look at it, when I've looked at it in quite a few communities. And this would be the most vibrant this time of year. So I haven't sort of concentrated too much on the business of the chairman at this time, but I mean, I've generally been involved in community group meetings, like the rest of the movie theatres or every week, but business group, been to several business group meetings. What else have I been doing? Liaising with people about road closures, those sorts of things. But nothing problematic this time, which is good. That's my report for this last period. And I'll just move that report be accepted. Those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Carried. I call on the members to do members' reports now. We'll start with you, Mark.
Okay, well, luckily I've been away on holiday for quite a long time, but I'm back now. So whilst away, I did miss a couple of local AGMs, but I've had the minutes with Mills Flat Swimming Pool AGM. Things are going well there. Going to open in the next couple of weeks. And then Mills Flat Water Supply AGM, and all's going well with that as well. I've also been to meetings with the museum, who are just doing the new museum, the new premises, and fitting that out. Looking to open next year. Been to a couple of Teviot prospects meetings, and on their agenda is things such as community housing and bike track on Grover's Hill. I've been to some Mills Flat coffee mornings, 3 or 4 of those since I've been back, and went to an ORC water meeting yesterday, spatial plan meetings, and an item fail trust meeting tomorrow this week. Of interest, out of region, but I was amazed and blown away by the Teviot solar power presentation, which I went to up in Ranfurly. Massive, 660 hectares, $400 billion development. Big. And will provide between 3 and 6% of New Zealand's electrical power.
Interesting.
That's it.
Thank you. Sure.
Just the short one, just that the Medical Trust, and they've done their first year basically of separating and going into the Alex system, so they are still ironing out the problem of who belongs to what, but yeah, that's all good. And I just popped into the wellbeing breakfast day the morning. And that was quite interesting because it was a 50-year plan and nobody knew what was going to be happening next Sunday. So yeah, the following Sunday. But yeah, that's it. And Norm, could you let me know when the movie things are on? I have no idea.
I do. I will.
Thank you.
I've a regular attendant at the community garden. Not that I'm a very active person there, but it's a nice little group, and the garden, I think, has got a place in the community because the vegetables are good and spray free, and they're about half the price of the supermarket. So there's steady buyers. I attended the McCrail Trust meeting, but I'm very pleased that National is canning the so-called power scheme here. The was it
They got battery.
yeah, because I think it's a waste of money. It's going to be what is it, 18 billion or something to build, and I might never get used. In the meantime, all the water would evaporate off and wouldn't be start the volume as I started with. So that's more or less me.
Thank you. So,
Right, well, I started the month with Peter's welcome at council, which was a great day. Then I had a walkways meeting, and I'll just update you a little bit on the walking tracks. So we've put new signage up on Grover's Hill because all the pine trees have been planted. So the signage is looking amazing, but the weed spraying is a bit of a work in progress at the moment. So it's probably going to take a couple of weeks before all of the weeds are under control. And so if anyone goes to walk around there and says that weeds are a little bit long, they are, but it is a work in progress. It was just a bit wet for a while for them to do it. So they are onto that now, and it's looking really good up there. There's a really great view from the top. The walking group was also successful in getting money to do up the Horseshoe Bend Bridge track. So that's going to be the next project, which is pretty exciting. So I'm not sure of the time frame on that, but we will be getting started on that. And we're still waiting to do up the river track because we need permission from DOC. So we're just in a holding pattern trying to get that done. Had several swimming pool meetings. I'm not sure what our opening date's going to be, but we were hoping for the 3rd of December, but I've got a feeling it's probably going to be pushed back a couple of weeks. So I'll be able to update you probably at the next meeting. And I attended the business breakfast last week where Rebecca and Anne gave us an update on the 50-year vision and the spatial plan. And I also went to the spatial plan meeting last night here, and there was probably about 10 people that came, and it was pretty positive feedback. And I spoke to an orchardist today who went along last night, and he was really impressed with how much thought had gone into the spatial plan. So good feedback. So that is the community board update. Council, we had a long-term plan workshop in September, and we've also had a council meeting and an audit and risk meeting and a Cromwell Town Centre planning meeting. So the big thing at council at the moment is working out our long-term plan strategy and what we're going to do with water and bridges. That's the big things on the agenda for this year, I would say. And that's me.
Thank you. I was going to ask you a question about the risk meeting, but I
Okay.
just, well, I don't know how much you can tell us. That's all. What goes on? What is on the agenda and the.
So I haven't got the agenda in front of me, but I can tell you anything that's public. There is a public part of the audit and risk meeting.
Yeah.
And then there's a non-public.
Yeah. Well, I guess we don't have any visibility of what goes on in those meetings. Without sitting down and if there's anything of concern for us as a board, would you be able to sort of share that with us?
Yeah, if it was public information, absolutely. Yep.
So there's nothing in there that might.
Don't know.
No, I was away, but I have looked at the agenda, so, and most of the stuff does come from my thing for those this meeting. So, couple of big policy documents that don't directly impact the board's procurement policy. We took that up, risk management sort of framework went up. We have, probably of importance for this board, is we've got a new chair. Bruce Robinson's coming on as the new chair, so Linda Robinson term was up and decided she didn't want to reapply. So we had a good conversation, initial conversation with Bruce, who wants to get around and meet all the members around in terms of, for him, he really wants to change the committee's focus to much more around the financial strategy and making sure that over the years that we are conscious of and adhering to it. So, and I know there has been coming from this board during your term quite a few financial questions as well. So I think that's probably you know, in terms of that financial oversight of the audit and risk committee will be excellent, but nothing of.
No. I mean, that's what sort of in the back of my mind is sort of causing me to sort of query what is being discussed at these meetings. I mean, we don't necessarily have time to sit down and attend the meetings online or anything like that, but it would be good to have some visibility. Particularly when we're all sitting here going, we want more money spent in our district.
So that's probably a lot in the long-term plan.
The long-term plan.
Yeah, a lot of that's the long-term plan.
Yeah, but I mean, it all feeds into it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think the audit and risk committee's responsibility is more making sure that we're adhering to the decisions of board and council, and if there's any changes, I don't know, left field, a change in policy that impacts finances, that we're working it through. So much more around sort of that overall financial management. And Sally's quite right in terms of actual money, and there's going to be quite a good conversation at your November meeting where we bring up some draft budgets to go through. Probably that's the time as a long-term plan where you really delve into the finances of the board.
Yeah, and in terms of the long-term plan at the moment, it's been a lot of workshops, so it hasn't been a budget. So we're getting fed information around what needs to be done, but we haven't got the budgets yet.
Yeah. I mean, I know I want more visibility.
Yeah.
I think Max is the same, and Jim definitely is.
And I know that you've asked me a question on that I do have the answer for later on to go through that. So, you know, we can do that by regular dialogue as well, because Susan is come in and really looking at the finances and getting a clearer understanding of them. Right?
Yeah.
So we can do that through
Yeah.
regular dialogue in these meetings as well.
Well, I forgot to mention my concerns about the rapid growth of the regional council. The regional council has got 300 staff and they added 30 to that this year. That's 10% increase. I've just got a $200 rate bill. I don't think we need a regional council. We've got a district council and we've got a Dunedin council. Why, for instance, does the regional council run the buses in Dunedin? Why don't Dunedin run their own bloody buses? And the same Queenstown buses. So they're now they're building their empire. They're building their empire building in Dunedin to the cost of about 12 million, and I think it's totally out of control.
There has been some serious impacts for regional councils with all the legislative changes that have come in, which have increased their legal requirements around compliance. So in terms of, in our meetings that we have, relationship meetings, they have been an organisation under pressure. And in terms of a conversation around the rates bills and all that's probably more of a direct conversation as an individual with the ORC.
Exactly.
I don't know how the board would feel about taking a collective response.
Well, it's
around
been
that. Yeah.
370,000 determining the flow of the Manurekia, and then they set it at a terribly low level.
Yeah.
And that cost 370,000, God's sake.
And Lou's just got a comment as well.
Yes, through the chair, the reason why the regional council managed transport is that is a function for the number of management. I'm sure the Dunedin City Council and Queenstown Lake share your concerns about that. I thought that that's why it's a function of the RMA, regional and transport. So they've got a whole list of functions that they deal with, and it's largely around water quality and quantity and air quality, but lots of science that we think, but also transport as a which is very interesting.
Okay, thank you. I'll move that we accept those members' reports, please. If I can have a seconder.
I'll second it, yeah.
Mark. All those in favour say aye.
Fine.
Those against say nay. Carried. Thank you. So we come to the status reports now. Generally, we have been, I guess, discussing these by exception rather than item by item. And the purpose of the report is to report on the items of general interest, receive minutes, updates from key organisations, and consider the legacy and current status of the report updates and recommendations are that the reports be received. So this time I would like us, given that we have a little bit of time up our sleeve, to go through each of these reports and just if there's any comment that anyone wants to make as opposed to doing it by exception. Is that okay?
Perfect for your chair can ask for that.
And the reason I'm asking for that is I think that we may have lost touch with some of these things that are sitting in there and might need to give them a wee nudge. I don't know. Have you guys read through them all? Okay. So the most recent ones, of course, are the three drafts that we gave out last meeting, approved last meeting. It says here that the applicants have been advised of the board decisions, further details on how to uplift the grant. What is that process?
So I can speak to that one. Within Dylan's team, obviously the tourism and the community grants, what happens after a board decision is that the staff go away and directly contact the applicant and advise them of your decision. And then there's just some financial requirements. It might be they need to do an invoice. It depends on the grant, and they advise them of the process, the in order for them to get the money. So essentially it does become on the organisation, and I, Sally's been through this experience with the pool, as we give advice on how to get the money, and then it just happens essentially.
Okay,
So that's a pretty routine thing for us to do.
Yeah.
So I think that will just happen as a matter of course.
And that's the turnaround time of,
Up to the, so the team do it pretty fast. They get out the decision of the board, which will be from last meeting, they will well and truly know by now.
Yeah.
So then it really becomes on the organisation, and the organisation might not need it for another couple of months, and they agree with staff that they'll uplift it in December. So
Yeah.
that's, it really does depend on the grant.
okay, thank you. Anyone else got any questions on those first two? Right. The second item, there are 4 pieces of work that were being, or 3 pieces of work that were being looked at to do with the entertainment centre. And if you look at where we've got to, council staff are reviewing the documents received by WSP. It doesn't sort of give us any indication of what they're talking about there. Is that the conservation plan that we're looking at, or the assessment?
I'm not across the detail of that. This is in Louise's area. Are you across?
Yeah, it's the, from my recollection, it's the easement around the earthquake street, but I can get some clarity around that.
Yeah, because I understand that the conservation plan has been completed as well, and it's with the property group for their consideration. And apparently it is a pretty good report.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that, sorry, Norm, but I follow up.
So we can probably get an update on that item there.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Given that it's one of the bigger assets that we've got in the valley, and it is probably going, we want it to be around for a long time. It'd be interesting to see what that conservation report has to say. Cemetery Trust, with the cemetery being, the operations of cemetery being handed over to council away from the trust. I didn't understand that the land was being transferred into council's name.
So what happens, and actually Logan will probably speak much better than I can to that. So the cemetery, as I understand, have asked for the management, is it correct, subject to the land encroachment, that's right. So then what happens is council takes it over. There's a legal process around the title that we do go through. Lou, are you across this one in any detail? Because it sort of sits, it sits between David's area, who's not here, and then Lou's team will do sort of a legal transaction, but we might not have that in front of us.
So whose land is the cemetery?
So the cemetery was ostensibly sat outside council's.
Yeah.
And I think a reserve managed by, owned, administered by DOC, but the cemetery was managed by trustee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the land was owned by
DOC, administered by DOC, land, that's my understanding. And the problem was that there was an encroachment with the neighbouring property as well.
Yeah.
And so that there was actually part of the cemetery was part of the orchard next door. Like the where the boundary was, there was an encroachment either way, and it took a really long time to sort through that with DOC just because of their resourcing levels. So there had to be a boundary adjustment to get the land, the cemetery land, in the correct ownership. We're definitely taking it over from a management perspective, but I just need to follow up and see whether we're going.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might just be around management.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get another update.
It says it's got transfer of title into council's name.
Right, okay. Thank you.
That'll be
that's
from
not-
Doc.
That's not.
I'm not sure whether that's the bit or the whole bit. if you know what I mean,
Yeah,
the encroachment bit or the whole
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but, I'll definitely get an update for you.
yeah.
Cool.
And then we gotta go on to the allocation of the Teviot Valley Walkways Reserve.
So that is that issue that we're waiting for Doc to give us permission to put the track in.
Yeah,
So that'll happen one day.
Why don't you just start?
so is there anything that we can do to,
I think so, because,
2021?
David's been speaking to someone, I think.
Yes, there's all over there.
Yeah, and Murray Gordon has as well. What I was thinking was going back to Tracy from Doc and explaining that the track is going to go to our new swimming pool and it's going to keep people safe getting there. And the reason that we're trying to do it up is so that people have got a safe way to get to the pool.
Just start.
And the pool is going to be open in December. It's taken forever.
Just start.
So what's an action point on that? Are you going to, as a group, do that stuff?
Well, so we've,
Or do we need these guys? to
no,
chase them?
they are chasing it for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
is happening on the upgrade? I mean, do you need machinery in there?
Oh no, all of that sorted. We've got all that. We just haven't got permission to do it. We've got machinery, we've got the money, but we don't have permission.
we haven't got permission to access the land with machinery.
I
Correct.
reckon you should just start, but you'll get your permission.
We will follow,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Mm.
Get the information from Kate.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that actually. Yeah.
Well,
Be a nice walkway, that one.
I know.
okay, so many moons ago, we had a presentation from Fish and Game and Contact about building a pontoon in the middle of Pinders Pond.
Well, not in the middle.
Was to
Quite a
go
long
out
way
to the middle. And we've still got that sitting there as a potential project.
I think it's with, is it with Contact at the moment?
They were
Yeah.
supposed to come back
Yeah.
to us with
Yeah.
quite a lot more information and I guess commitment that they were going to proceed with it before we even decided that it was, like we've agreed in principle, but that's about it.
Mm.
Why Contact Energy got something to say in this? Is
They're
that
funding
because
it.
they're
They're funding it with Fishing Game, yeah.
So from memory, I think Fishing Game approached Contact. That was the way around it, wasn't it?
And
So
They
give
wanted,
them a hurry up.
they wanted to create somewhere for disabled people to be able to go fishing. Like that was part of it, was they wanted a facility, Fishing Game did, where people in a wheelchair or something would be able to access an activity like fishing.
Yeah.
And that's how they came up with this
So
plan.
that's not a pontoon then, that's a walkway.
Yeah, it'd be a walkway that they'd be able to go on.
Floating.
Yeah, but they're also looking at doing a track around the outside of Flinders, so you'd be able to walk around the pond as
And
well.
access the pond
Yeah,
from your
I
wheelchair.
was thinking of pontoons so that the bigger kids can swim out to it and leave the little kids.
No, this is like a
it'd be more of a
Floating jetty.
jetty. Yeah. Yeah, so it's
They
kind
have,
of,
they have done, had significant discussions with Contact in, regarding other things, not this, but local things to do with, spawning and, a fish, spawning area. And,
Yeah.
and they've contacted putting up quite a bit of money to do that.
Mm.
But I don't have that meeting, wasn't aware of this, so that wasn't mentioned.
Yeah.
they came to a proposal, but they've kind of stalled it, it seems.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, the purpose of the status report is for us to, I guess, recall some of this stuff as we go through.
We want to build our own pontoon.
Well,
We
these
could
guys wanna
do,
pay.
but these guys came along with the idea and were offering to do it.
A jetty.
Yeah,
I mean, at one point we were actually just gonna take it off because we didn't think it was going anywhere, and then I think they wrote a letter, and then it got it kind of
Someone else,
reinvigorated. And that's why it's still there.
Mm.
April.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
So at what point do we drop it off?
Well, I think it's a good, we want it to continue, we want it to happen, don't
That's
we? We don't want it to
exactly
still,
what I wanted.
yeah, we don't want it to still on.
Yeah,
So, maybe we should just need to follow up with contacting them to see where they're at. Yeah.
I'll touch base with Murray and just see where,
Yeah.
what the latest.
Yeah.
Have I any centennial fund, is that contact?
No, that's, trust our
Trust there.
But yeah,
Well, that was worthwhile doing
Hmm.
because it's sort of, there's only a, we're doing it by exception to save time when we were busy. So I move that we accept that status report. Can I have a seconder, please? All those in favour say aye. Those against say nay. Carry. I believe that's the end of our business.
What's the next meeting?
Oh, the date of the next meeting is the 23rd of November. 1 month before the big panel flies down the chimney.
Do we want to change the time of that or just leave it as is?
Do you want to try a morning meeting? Is that,
Yeah, that
We can
would be.
do it at this stage, yeah.
the only problem is that we usually celebrate after the last meeting of the year.
We can start early.
we can celebrate with lunch or morning too.
Yeah, I don't mind brunch, but champagne breakfast is a bit much, hey?
There's not really anywhere to go anyway now.
No, okay, so we'll do the 9 o'clock start.
Yeah.
And after that, I declare this meeting closed and thank you for your attendance.
Okay.
2:43.
It was even shorter than